Let's try this one. This one, yeah. I'm seeing it on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. We're here for the final day of games here at the Caribbean Women's Championship in Guyana 2025. First matchup of the day is Bahamas versus the Virgin Islands. Second matchup, Guyana versus Jamaica. We see the table here. Virgin Islands at the top, undefeated with 6 points. Get Bahamas on 5. So it's a matchup against the top 2 teams in the tournament. Both looking to impose themselves and finish strong.
This is the FIBA Women's Championship, journey to our veterans. For the Virgin Islands, number 9, their captain, Lenny Ball. Number 5, Naja Gungba. Number 6, Imani Tate. Number 7, Lakeisha Graham. Number 8, Taylor Jones. Number 10, Natalie Day Kielman. Number 11, Carisha Romaine. Number 20, Victoria Hamilton. Number 21, Najee Ifan. Number 23, Anisha George. The coach today, Tamaja Gungba, and assistant coach Clint Williams. And for the Bahamas, number 14, their captain, Valerie Nasbitt. Number 1, Michaela Tucker. Number 2, Caleb Bean. Number 3, Felicia Demetri. Number 4, Latoya Rowe. Number 6, Judy Forbes. Number 7, Latava Bryan. Number 9, Michelle Butler. Number 10, LaShawn Higgs. Number 11, Torona Wilkos. Number 12, Tanya Lockhart. And number 15, Shalonda Nelly. Their coach today, Danielo Culmer, and assistant coach, Jaron Barrones. If you can, please stand for the national anthem of the Virgin Islands. Now for the national anthem of the Bahamas.
All right, now we see the players greeting each other at center court, exchanging gifts and pleasantries. Nice positive mood ahead of today's game. As it's been for the majority of the tournament, this is Omari Joseph here on commentary.
would now like to welcome the referees for the game. Our crew chief for this afternoon, Carmelo Alvarez from Puerto Rico.
You see the referees for today's game on screen. Carmelo de la Rosa from Puerto Rico, Brooke Briscoe from Canada, and Jose Antonio de Maria from Panama. Crew chief tonight is Carmelo de la Rosa. See the starters for the Virgin Islands: Tate, Cleveland Day, Ephraim, and Anisha George at center.
Before we continue, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the sponsors and partners who made this year's FIBA Women's Championship possible.
See the coach, Tajmo Gangbo, for head coach for the Virgin Islands.
Basketball Federation, along with our partners, Victoria Green, Dial, Lady Logistics, and ENET, Scottish Smokehouse, MVP Sports,
Now for the Bahamians, we have Valicia Demerit starting alongside Latavius Brennan, Mitchell Butler, LaShawn Higgs, and Valerie Nesbitt. Here we see the coach, Danilo Colmer, head coach of the Bahamas. He looks in good spirits ahead of this penultimate game. The Bahamians had a really good performance in their last game, shooting performance in particular, highlighted by the hot hand of Valicia Demerit, who exploded for 25 points, with 20 over 25 being scored in the fourth quarter. She missed her first shot and then went 7 for 7. An absolutely scorching shooting performance from her in the previous game. We had named her as one to watch for later in the tournament, but I don't think anyone expected such an explosion in the fourth quarter of that last game. I'm joined here by the other Joseph, Tristan Joseph, and just talking about the performance of Valicia Demerit in the last game for the Bahamas. I think she's going to be a key player for Bahamas today. She came off the bench and had that performance. We see her getting the start today. Do you think she can have a similar impact against this stifling defense by the Virgin Islands?
Yeah, definitely. I think once she sticks to what she does best, she'll be able to have an impact on the game. I think the Bahamas is just trying to maybe give the U.S. Virgin Islands a different look from probably what they've seen so far in the tournament from the Bahamas. Maybe shake them up a little bit, because sometimes you have to play or try to employ a different strategy against such a strong team, right? So I think the Bahamas could pull off an upset today, but they just have to play with it themselves and let the game come to them.
Yeah, I think comparing the two teams, the matchup on paper based on performances throughout the tournament is actually a lot more even than people may think. The two teams both are the best at taking care of the basketball, with the Virgin Islands averaging 18.7 turnovers and the Bahamas averaging just 21. The Bahamas' average is actually pushed up by their performance in the last game against Jamaica. So when you really think about it, both teams are capable of taking care of the ball. The Bahamas is actually a bit better from three-point range and from the field, shooting 44% to the Virgin Islands 42%, and then 34% from three to the Virgin Islands 25%. In fact, the Virgin Islands doesn't take many three-point attempts. Their leading scorer, Anisha George, has not made a single attempt from three. She knows that her power is in the paint, and that's where she's imposed herself for the entirety of the tournament. She's actually shooting a whopping 83.3%. There we see the tip won by the Virgin Islands, corralled by Ephraim. Ephraim gets it, feeds it back up top to Bow. Bow across the Tate. George trying to find position down low. She gets immediately doubled. We see an early strategy by the Bahamians to prevent the ball into Bow.
What a shot by Tate.
The ball into George, my apologies. Great shot by Tate, drawing first blood for the Virgin Islands. The score is 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. You could already see that the Bahamas, they're going to double George immediately. I think they're trying to take away the Virgin Islands' best player and say, hey, anybody but you will beat us today.
Yeah, we see a moving screen called there on Butler. Turnover very early by the Bahamians. Ball brings the ball back up the floor for the Virgin Islanders. Ball inside to George. George to Ephraim. Ball doesn't go. Recovered by Nesbitt. Nesbitt kicks it up to Higgs. Higgs drives. Fakes the pass. Gets the easy two. Intelligent basketball there by Higgs. Good by Nesbitt, pushing the pace of the game with that early pass up the floor. There we see two players shadowing George again to prevent that ball inside. It leaves the frame open. The frame kicks it in the corner to Tate. Tate
again for three.
With another three. There we see the Bahamians trying to deny the ball inside, but it's leaving someone open on the perimeter.
Yeah, but I think I would still stick with that strategy just because you never know. Tate might go a little bit cold. I think it is a good strategy to start the game with. You've given up two wide open threes, but at the same time, you need to stop somebody, and that somebody needs to be George.
Now, you're right. In both of the two previous games played by the Virgin Islands, George has been absolutely dominant. None of the teams have been able to find solutions for her. She's been drawing lots of fouls, scoring lots of points, grabbing rebounds as well. She's actually averaging 5.3 rebounds per game. So I think that they're going to have to play the numbers because that's all they have to go off of for the tournament so far. And if we look at their shooting, the three-point percentage of the Virgin Islands, it's just 25%. So it's a risk they'll have to live with.
Definitely, I think it's a risk they'll have to live with. Beat us shooting threes then.
Yeah, there we see the tactics again. They're trying to keep George out of the paint. She gets smothered as soon as she receives the ball there. But it's a foul. Ref calls it. Ball is to be inbounded by Tate. Tate gives it to Bow at the top. Bow inside to Cleveland Day. Cleveland Day turns, puts it up, and gets it to fall.
Cleveland has a really good mid-range shot, and she could turn both left or right and shoot it over either shoulder.
Yeah, we've seen her turn both left and right in this tournament. A nice elbow jumper she has there actually. Here we see a foul called on Nesbitt trying to get the steal after losing the ball a little bit earlier. The score is 8-2 to the Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands are the away team for tonight. Virgin Islands in the blue, Bahamas in yellow. Ball inside to Cleveland Day. Cleveland Day kicks it to Bow. Bow puts it up, inside and out. Here we see George again. Two players on George. George falls. Higgs gets the ball. That's a long two. Gets it to fall. Her foot looks like she was on the line.
Three.
They call it the three on the floor.
Bow with the ball. Passes
to Cleveland Day.
Cleveland Day again.
Cleveland Day puts it up, doesn't get it to fall. There we see Nesbitt down low, blocking out. George preventing the rebound and Butler supporting. You see the strategy early by the Bahamians. Keep George off the boards and keep George out of the game. Butler up against Tate.
Good block.
Clean block by Butler. Gets all ball. It's heading straight back up for the Bahamas. I'm loving the defensive intensity from Bahamians at the start of this first quarter.
Definitely intense start as well. Both teams playing really well.
Nesbitt sizes up her defender. Drives down to the baseline. Foul call there on the Virgin Islands defender. Lovely pass in by Nesbitt. It doesn't fall initially from Brainen. Brainen gets it back but doesn't get to finish. Ball comes up the floor inside to George. George kicks it in the corner to Ephraim. Ephraim puts it up, gets it to fall. That looks like a long two.
Long two, definitely a long two. That baseline jumper, always one of the easier shots on the floor.
Yes, it's the shortest three on the court, and very often when defenses collapse, the corner is left open.
Nesbitt sizing up, Tate swings it in.
Kicks it in the corner to Demerit. Demerit with a high jumper, swish.
What a shot.
Here we see another jumper from the corner there, and Demerit gets her first shot to fall. And like I said before the previous game, and I'm going to say it before this one, she is certainly one to watch. Turned by George, she draws the foul on Butler. Butler reaching in as George turns there. That's a trip to the line for George.
Yeah, I think George will have to play aggressively in the paint if she's going to be, an impact player tonight, because clearly the Bahamians are trying to trap her every time down the court. So she'll probably have to catch and make her move early instead of waiting and the double team comes in and traps her.
Yeah, I think it's going to be down to the guard play, actually, to try and get the ball to her before the defense gets set. We see that's exactly what they did on that last play, allowing for a good opportunity at the rim, which resulted in a foul, and now her 2 free throws. She just scored the first one, prepping for her second. Gets it to fall, 2 for 2 from the line, taking the Virgin Islands lead to 5. Score is 12-7, Virgin Islands.
Here comes Jones, who's subbed in.
Yeah, we see Taylor Jones checking into the game, and immediately there's a high press. Higgs being hounded by Jones.
Stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, plays the ball, or either played the ball or stepped out of bounds on the drive there. Quick turnover. Ball coming right back at them. Another step out of bounds by Taylor Jones. We see some uncharacteristic turnovers from Taylor Jones in the last 2 games. She had some offensive fouls, a couple of travels, and now here to start the game, it seems her unlucky streak has continued with her stepping out of bounds early.
I think she's probably just a little bit anxious. You don't expect a player of her caliber to be anxious, but especially after she came out to a slow start last evening, she's probably just looking to get things going tonight, and was just not aware she was that close to the baseline, basically.
Desperation shot there by Nesbitt as the shot clock was running down. Doesn't get it to fall. It's rebounded by the Virgin Islands and comes straight back up the court. Hamilton inside to Tate with a touch pass to Jones. Jones gets...
That's a foul.
That's a foul call there on Butler. Butler suggests that she got ball, but I think she got a little bit of Jones before she got the ball.
Yeah, that's a hard fall. Jones hitting the back of her head there on the floor. You can see her clutching it, but she'll still step to the line for the 2 free throws. Showing some toughness here, Taylor Jones.
Yeah, these 2 free throws would be a good opportunity for her to get herself in the game, get some points on the board, get some rhythm going. That was a very intelligent touch pass from Tate ahead of the play. She saw Jones while she was still in the air and got it to her immediately. Jones bricks the first free throw. And it's not surprising to see the intelligent pass from Tate, because she's actually the team leader in assists with 4.7 for the Virgin Islands. It's interesting to note that although we've pointed out that the Bahamians have fewer scorers than the Virgin Islands, for example, the Bahamians actually average more assists per game than the Virgin Islands. You could argue that some of that is down to the Virgin Islands getting a lot of points in the half court where players go to work one-on-one. For example, we see George down low getting to work several times one-on-one, some of the same from Cleveland Day. We also saw some individual play from Ephraim as well. So I don't think that's really a point of concern between the 2 teams. You see a timeout call there. Score is 13-7. Virgin Islands in the lead. By both teams, I'd actually say this is somewhat of a slow start compared to their previous games in the tournament.
I think that it's just a feeling out process for both teams. They know what this game means, especially the Bahamas. The U.S. the Virgin Islands, actually, they also are trying to go undefeated in the tournament. And, I think they just don't want to lose to put themselves in any sort of position with a game still remaining between Guyana and Jamaica. Who knows what could happen in terms of the points differential, right? So I think they're just trying to get that feel of how both teams are playing, and then they'll make the necessary adjustments, and we might see this game pick up a little bit more.
I'm inclined to agree with you. Something we've noted throughout the tournament is that teams have to control the factors that they can control, or maintain control over those factors, and one of those is getting wins on the board. you don't want to be in a position where you're relying on another team to win or another team to score this specific number of points or anything like that. Leaving it up to chance will always leave you in a position of angst and even regret, because you'll think, oh my, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Exactly, you know. Excuse me.
Higgs pulls for three, doesn't get it to fall, doesn't get the rebound. Recovered by George of the Virgin Islands. Ball brings it up the floor. Ball kicks in the corner to Hamilton. Hamilton puts it up straight away, doesn't get it to fall. George gets the rebound and puts it back up for two. We see Wild Goose checking in for the Bahamians, and she seemed to miss her assignment there on the defensive glass. Nesbitt goes up, draws the foul. 2 shots at the line. It's a shot while shooting. That foul goes on Gongbo, who just checked into the game for the Virgin Islands after that timeout. I think those drives from the guards, particularly Nesbitt and Higgs, are going to be essential for the Bahamians. Drawing fouls, getting the Virgin Island bigs especially in foul trouble. If you can limit their ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor, they're going to be in with a shout.
Yeah.
See the first free throw scored by Nesbitt.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Nesbitt and Higgs has to be aggressive in this game. Getting to the rim, putting possibly George, Cleveland Day in some amount of foul trouble. Hamilton as well, that sometimes plays in that lower block area. So it'll be critical for them to attack the defense of the Virgin Islands.
There we see the ball denial strategy there of the
2 shots.
2 shots there. Foul on Bow after the shot. Looks like that foul was on demerit. We see the ball denial strategy being effective so far, though. They're denying that entry pass to George or forcing her to get rid of the ball quickly. But it's leaving someone open on the perimeter. And as they're recovering, we see for the second time they commit a foul on the shooter.
You just got to be smart with your closeout. You know, keep your hands up and try to stay a safe distance away from the shooter so that you don't foul him, because then you don't want to give up a 3-point play or a 4-point play.
George recovers the rebound from Bow's miss on the second free throw, giving them a second chance to score. Tate for the, Jones, sorry, for the long three. He doesn't get it to go. Recovered by Nesbitt. Nesbitt up the floor to Higgs for that easy deuce on the fast break. We saw the Bahamas profited from fast breaks against Jamaica, and they're doing the same against Virgin Islands.
Yeah, and I think that's how they get a lot of their assists as well, because a lot of times, soon as they collect the rebound, they look to push the pace. Either Nesbitt pushes it to Higgs, Higgs up to Nesbitt, and they get a lot of those free.
We see picks down low being set for George to get her open. Offensive foul there committed by Gongbo. Looks like they called the elbow flailing as she stepped over. I think the Bahamian player sold the contact a bit there. It didn't seem like it was too heavy, but I get it how you live, I guess.
Yeah, and listen, everything needs to go your way for the Bahamas right now. And if they're going to give me those offensive fouls, I'm going to capitalize. So
most certainly. We see Brainan and Roll checking in for the Bahamians alongside Forbes. Forbes, I think, is someone else who can be very useful and effective for the Bahamians. Her energy inside the paint is going to be essential. We see very early on the Bahamian head coach has given George several different bodies and several different looks in those half-court situations.
And what's going to be interesting is when George checks out of the game, how will the Bahamians now attack the Virgin Islands defense?
Here we see Higgs penetrating the defense, beating 2 players. There were some fans who called for a double dribble, but the ball was actually tipped from behind by the Virgin Islands guard, giving Higgs a second chance to gather, dribble, and go for the layup. Tate passes to the frame at the top, in the corner here to Bow. Bow feeding inside to Cleveland Day. Cleveland Day does the same turn you're talking about, but gets stripped by Forbes. There we see Forbes' effectiveness coming to bear immediately after coming in. Nesbitt drives,
loses the ball.
The frame picks that ball immediately from Nesbitt. Fed straight up the floor to Tate. Tate back inside the frame. She puts it up, doesn't get it to finish. Tate tries to recover, but passes it straight to Brainan. Brainan to Nesbitt, bringing the ball up the floor. That's a timeout called by, technical foul called by the coach.
To the coach of the Virgin Islands team.
Yeah, it looks like she said something in the direction of the referee after that missed layup. I don't know if she called for a foul or made some sort of comment, but the ref immediately turned and gave a technical foul. I think the coach Gongba is going to have to be careful. From what I've seen throughout the tournament, she's been one of the more vocal coaches on the sidelines. I think she's only topped by the head coach and assistant coach of Suriname.
Yeah, definitely.
They were by far the most vocal in this tournament. But we saw just last night, fair weather. We saw just last night, fair weather. Offense, fell foul on the offense. Rebound there by Roll. Ball comes back to the Virgin Islands. But going back to the comments about coaches, like I said, the Surinamese were by far the most vocal, but I've seen the Virgin Islands coach Gongba get a little animated a few times in this tournament. We saw fair weather last night, get 2 texts in quick succession. I think the coach Gongba is going to be towing a fine line for the remainder of the game.
Definitely. And, you know, emotions do get the best of us from time to time, but sometimes I think the refs kind of give out that tech early to say, hey, calm down and keep your emotions in check.
Indeed, we see George winning the second free throw. The score is 16-14. Virgin Islands up by just 2. Here we see Nesbitt trapped immediately in the corner. She dribbles out, feeds it in the corner to Higgs. Higgs fakes the shot, pushes it through, goes for the layup, gets it to fall. And the score is the level. Here we see the Bahamians taking care of the basketball, just like we talked about, and they're still very much in this game. Affirm in the corner to Cleveland. Cleveland drains the 3. This is looking like the start of the same kind of start we saw between the Bahamas and Jamaica. You throw a punch, I throw a punch. It's a fight in the telephone booth. We get to see with 2 minutes left in the first quarter who's going to come out on top. Nesbitt keeps her dribble alive up against Tate, spins, tries to feed the ball inside, blocked there by Tate. Tate quick on the fast break, passes to Frame, and Frame Forbes. Frame gets it to go and gets the foul from Forbes. Just like that, she flexes, and just like that, the score, or the lead rather, goes to 5 points with a chance to take it to 6 at the line.
Yeah, the Bahamas slacking up a bit here. I think they have to just stay in their
Yeah, we see the replay plan here. Yep, Forbes got no ball, all arm on the recover. I don't think she should have done that. If you're gonna take that foul, prevent the shot.
Yeah, like wrap her up.
And on the previous play, the turnover, I think Nesbitt, that pass was telegraphed. She had Higgs open in the corner, but tried to force the ball inside to Brannon, or was it Roll? Either way, it wasn't effective, and it didn't end well for them. Here we see Higgs shows, pulls up, doesn't get the foul call. And the ball's coming right back at them. Tate brings it up, passes it across the bow. Bow in the corner here to Ephraim. Ephraim puts the ball down, drives inside to George.
Block.
Forbes with a good block. It's an immediate double on George. Ball at the top for Tate. Tate drives, gets the foul, doesn't get it to go. We see Forbes here again reaching. I think the Bahamian coach is going to have to talk to Forbes there. She's not getting in the right defensive position, and she's reaching, committing these fouls on.
But she did just get a good block there on George, so I think it's just a matter of her making the right plays and not, committing silly fouls.
Yeah, I agree. We see Higgs and Roll checking out for the Merit and the number 9, Butler. Forbes remains in the game, getting a talking to from one of the coaching staff of the Bahamas. Tate drains the first free throw, extending the lead to 7 points for the Virgin Islands. Drains her second as well, extending the lead to 8. I think the Bahamians are going to need some points on this possession. They allowed the Virgin Islanders to go on a little run there, and they don't want this game to get out of hand. Nesbitt with a long 3, doesn't get it to fall.
Yeah, I think the Bahamas, you don't want to get behind 10 early up in the first quarter to the Virgin Islands, because we know how that could easily balloon into a 20 or plus 30-point lead. Nesbitt checks out and Higgs is in.
No, that's not Nesbitt. That's Forbes checking out there. Higgs checks back in. I think the Bahamian coaches recognize the need for offense at the end of this first quarter. This free throw by Ephraim takes the lead to 9 points. Chance to give the first double-digit lead of the game. Yep, that's 10-point lead for the Virgin Islands. Nesbitt bringing the ball back up the floor for the Bahamas.
Pick set for Nesbitt by Butler. Passes to Butler at the top of the two-point shot. She takes a tough three and swishes it.
Swishes it. That's 3 for Valerie Nesbitt. That's the release the Bahamians needed. The ball comes right back at them with Tate to bow to Ephraim. The ball gets tipped by Higgs. Big swing pass from Ephraim back to bow to Cleveland Day. Cleveland Day in the corner to Ephraim. Ephraim is open. She goes for the 3. Doesn't get it to fall. Tipped. Not recovered. Recovered by George. Back out to Ephraim. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. 13 on the game clock. In the corner here to Tate. Tate goes up for 3. That's it to fall.
Tate for 3. This is her third 3 of the game.
Yep, she answers the 3 by Nesbitt. 3 seconds left in the game. Pass to Higgs. Higgs pulls the 3. Too strong. 10-point lead to end the first quarter. I think the Bahamians are going to look back at this first quarter knowing that they were right there in the game, and 2 turnovers quickly took the game out of their hands. 1 turnover leading to a 3-point play. The other turnover leading to 2 points, a trip to the line, and then a second chance point which led to the 3 there for a second chance opportunity, I should say, for the Virgin Islands, leading to a 3 there. So at the end of this first quarter, how do you think the complexion of the game is, Tristan?
I think the Bahamas is still in the game. The Virgin Islands obviously has some control right now, and I think the trap is working. I think the Bahamas just needs to stick with it.
Okay.
I think they just need to stick with it. Hopefully, Tate is hot right now. She's on fire from 3. Maybe she goes cold. Cleveland Day has been hitting that elbow jumper ever so often. But outside, and Ephraim obviously is playing well too. But I think if they stick with that trap, I think they can still get back into this game and give the Virgin Islands a good battle.
Yeah, they can give a good battle. I think it's time to regroup ahead of this second quarter. And in the second quarter, if they can get their scoring going and continue to take care of the ball, they're going to be in with a shout, like I said. I like some of the players they've had on offense so far. However, a few times we see their starting guard Nesbitt force some of the players, which are going to be telegraphed by this very disciplined Virgin Islands defense.
Definitely. The girls are preparing to head back out on the floor for the second quarter. The score is 29-19 in favor of the Virgin Islands over the Bahamas. Good game so far.
Yeah, great game so far. And as we've seen for the entirety of this FIBA Caribbean Women's Championship, turnovers being the difference. In the first quarter, the Bahamians committed 7 turnovers compared to the Virgin Islands 3. And one of those 3 turnovers was simply just a step out of bounds by the Virgin Islands, and then the offensive foul by Gongbo. That's 2 of the turnovers. None of the turnovers have been due to poor handling, poor passes, etc.
And that's the thing. The Bahamians are not good.
Great drive there by Nesbitt. Got to give credit to the pick set there by Brain. Good strip, clean strip there by Butler. Got to give credit to the pick set by Butler as well, which led to Nesbitt's drive. Trying to figure out what's happening here. There's the coach is talking there to the referee. Referee's trying to explain to the coach what's happening. As we've said earlier, the coach Tajma Gongba has been one of the more vocal coaches throughout the tournament. Extended discussions between her and the crew chief for tonight. Long delay in play, but it looks like things are about to start. The ball being inbounded by Tate. Bahamians are strict on defense, trying to deny the ball in to George. George gets the ball nonetheless. Great spin by George. Doesn't get it to fall. Gets the foul. Goes to the line for 2 shots. Looks like she's going to have to get her points the hard way tonight. Or this afternoon, rather. Here we see the pass in. Great move by George. She was actually triple teamed there, but gets the foul. Foul committed by Brannon as she turned, reaching into the cookie jar there and getting nothing but hands. That first score on the free throw takes the lead back up to 9. Chance for the second free throw here. George puts it up and gets it to go. So the 10-point lead is restored for the Virgin Islands.
Nesbitt walking the ball up the floor.
The Bahamians are going to have to get some stops if they want to stay in this game with the Virgin Islands.
Passes to Butler. Butler almost loses the dribble.
Butler gets it to Higgs. 6 seconds left on the clock. Higgs drives.
Ooh, nice
Great
drive
move by Higgs and gets the finish. Lovely move there by Higgs under heavy defensive pressure. Finishing in traffic. Beautiful composure from her. Ball in the corner here to Jones. Jones back up to Bow. Bow feeds it inside. Too high, too strong for George. That's a symptom of that trap that we saw. The defense showed early. Bow tried to force it inside and didn't get it on target. That's a turnover there for the Virgin Islands.
That's why I say you got to stick with your game plan. Don't get flustered by what's going on the scoreboard, at least not right now.
Early pass to Higgs.
What a
Higgs
switch by
swishes it.
Higgs.
Great contest by George,
yeah.
but it didn't matter.
Yeah, hands down, man down.
There we see Higgs locked in. Good pass up to Jones. Jones takes the shot.
Wild shot.
Foul there by Nesbitt.
No free throws.
No shot. Yes, the foul call on the floor. That looks like Nesbitt's second foul. We'll have to double check. But it does indeed look like her second foul. Yes, that is her second foul for the night. Called on the floor, so it's an inbounds to the Virgin Islands. The lead cut to 5 amidst that. Thanks to the credit of 5 points, 5 consecutive points scored by LaShawn Higgs. Frame inside to Jones. Jones gets the 2. Nice. Good ball movement. We see them playing the ball around George, knowing that George would get pressure. Jones with the back cut found herself in some space and got the finish.
Nesbitt off the bank. What a
I'm not sure she called the bank, but it doesn't matter. She's going to take the points to the bank. Scores 29-33.
This is getting heated.
Fed inside to George.
Ooh,
George doesn't get the call, but she gets the finish.
Boom.
2 quick points scored by the Virgin Islands. Nesbitt calls for the pick. Pick set on Tate. Jones and Tate up against Nesbitt in the corner. Ball inside denied. Kicked to Butler. Butler puts it up. Way off. Recovered by George. George to Tate. Tate looks to feed the ball early. Tells the team to calm down. Takes it up the center. Here we see Frame open. Taking the jumper. Too strong. Recovered by Butler. Oh, recovered by
George.
No, recovered by Hamilton to George. George gets the easy finish. There we see on defense there. They didn't get settled. Left George open and George profited. The lead back up to 8 points.
Nesbitt getting the pick from Butler. Passes to Higgs. Higgs attempts.
Higgs drives up against George. Gets the fall and the finish.
Oh, yeah.
We see Higgs not afraid of contact, not afraid to get to the rim. Very intelligent step. First bounce.
I think the hesitation too. She faked the 3 and then drove past her defenders and they contested late.
There we see it right there. Excellent step. Yes, I see George contesting the foul call, but you see she jumps forward and into the space of the attacker. Anytime you do that, you give the ref an opportunity to call a foul. She also jumped from inside the restricted area as well.
Yeah.
So no matter how you twist it,
That's a foul.
that's a foul.
What are you complaining about?
As a player, no, you're always gonna complain. You know, you never do anything wrong, and you're in the game. You're not seeing it from our third person perspective. Bahamas calls a timeout there. The lead is down to 6. As we said, the Bahamas are certainly in the game. We see the three-point shooting of the Virgin Islanders cooling down and sticking to the plan working.
Yeah, stick to your plan, stick to your game plan. Don't get flustered. Don't look at the scoreboard. It's early. You look at the scoreboard in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna avoid calling you a prophet, but you're certainly working with the stats here. The Bahamians also, they're clearly playing. Their game plan is playing to the numbers, and so far it's paying dividends, keeping them in the game.
Definitely. And I think the Bahamians know that they don't take a lot of threes, and they're not very good at hitting the threes. So, hey, if you're going to beat us doing the thing you do the least, you know, or you do the worst.
Yeah, that's intelligent, and really and truly throughout the tournament, this Virgin Islands team has not shown many weaknesses. They've been the best at taking care of the ball, the best in defense. One of the most efficient teams, actually. Only the Bahamians and the Guyanese have been able to shoot it better, particularly from beyond the arc. So in light of that, playing the numbers is the most effective strategy for Team Bahamas. Here we see ball feeding it into Hamilton. Hamilton in the corner to Tate. Tate doesn't get the finish. George with the rebound. George kicks it out. Higgs gets the steal. Higgs drives directly at the rim. Pulls for three on the fast break. Doesn't get it to go. Recovered by... Tipped by Tate. Yeah, we see Demerit try to play the ball backwards, but based on the direction the ball eventually went, the refs call the out of bounds committed by Tate.
Yeah, but I think Higgs should have made the better play, which was to pass to Demerit, who was
wide open. Yeah,
for the layup. Higgs on the baseline, passes to Bryant. Nesbitt. Foul.
Nesbitt gets the foul on Tate. Yeah, Tate came in a little too hot there. You mentioned taking care on your closeouts. Oh, that closeout was a little too rushed there by Tate.
Yeah, a good bump, a good body bump, you know. Let you know I'm here.
Nesbitt up against Hamilton at the top. I think Nesbitt is going to like this matchup. Hamilton's lateral movement has not been among the best for the Virgin Islanders. Nesbitt pulls up, too strong, recovered by number 7. Brainin gets the ball to go. Brainin has been the best rebounder for the Bahamian team, and I think her influence inside the paint, especially on the offensive glass, is going to be critical. We just saw an example of that. There the ball fed to Tate. Tate drives.
Tough shot, foul. That's going to be 2 shots for
Yeah, that's going to be 2 shots for Tate. Tate took advantage of the fact that George was double down low, leaving her open, and instead of taking the 3, because those haven't been falling, she drives to the rim, gets a chance to go to the line and take 2 free throws.
Exactly. So you kind of see the Bahamians' plan is unfolding. Now,
here we see the replay. Yep, clear foul there by Butler. Butler reaching in with both hands and hitting Tate on the arms.
Definitely. But Tate swishes the first of her 2 free throws. But yeah, the Bahamas is looking solid. I think the game plan is right there. If they stick to it, then I think because the threes have not been falling, now you have a chance to put the Virgin Islands in a position where they're playing outside of their comfort zone.
Here we see Michelle Butler checking out and Neely checking in for the Bahamas. I think they're looking to put a big body on George on the inside. Let's see how that plays out on this offensive possession. Here we see Neely coming up top for a screen. Doesn't take it. Nesbitt tries, doesn't get the finish. He came in a little too hot there. Bow brings the ball up the right wing for the Virgin Islanders. Passes to Kleeman there. Kleeman across to Tate. Tate looks to drive. Denied. Swings the ball in the corner to Bow. Bow puts it up. Doesn't get it to go. Yep, the big body by Neely kept George out of contention for the glass. Nesbitt gets the foul. I see Ephraim looking a bit incredulously at the ref, but her hands were not straight up on that drive from Nesbitt. There's no excuse for that. If we get a chance to see a replay, I'm sure that's exactly what we will see. The ref was in the perfect position Nesbitt gets the first free throw, cutting the lead back to 4. Second free throw attempt for Nesbitt is not good. Recovered by George. Bow being the primary ball handler for the Virgin Islands so far in this latter stage, this middle stage of the second quarter. George gets a rebound there. Neely lost George. I think there's a difference there in athleticism between the two players. George profiting from it, getting the offensive rebound and the points. The lead back up to 6 for the Virgin Islands. Neely recovers the miss there, the loss there by Higgs. Foul call there against Neely. Neely couldn't finish despite backing down the Virgin Islands player. Missed opportunity there, I'd say, by the Bahamians. Hopefully they can get a stop and get back up the floor. They're going to need to take advantage of these opportunities if they want to stay in the game. Every trip down without scoring is another chance for the Virgin Islanders to take the lead higher. Cleveland Day at the top. Takes a drive with her left, kicks it back out to Tate. Tate fakes, drives, up against Neely. Doesn't get it to fall. George with the offensive rebound and the bucket. There we see Neely getting a chance to box out when settled. But when there's lots of movement around Neely, Neely loses George. And George is one of the best, if not the best, I've seen in the tournament at using her body to get in position. Nesbitt takes the 3. It's short. That shot looks a little tired from Nesbitt there. She leaned to the left, and that probably contributed to the power failure, which led to her shooting short.
Power failure. I almost said something when you said power failure, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But yeah, Nesbitt, I think you could see she's probably going to play the entire game. Oh, what a shot.
What a shot by Tate. She doesn't get the call. The bench rose expecting a foul call there, but now the lead is 10. And we see exactly what I was speaking of earlier, where the Bahamians not taking advantage of their opportunities. No basket, offensive foul call there. Higgs saying that the defender exaggerated contact, gets a technical for remonstrating at the ref. We see the ref today, the crew chief, no nonsense.
No nonsense.
Any back shot is going to be a call.
The ref's convening to talk about the tech. The coach is still clapping at the ref.
I think the head coach of the Virgin Islands, Tajma Gongba, is happy to see a tech called for an opposing player, because she probably thought that the tech called on her was soft.
Yeah,
definitely. So she might feel a little bit of vindication there, seeing the tech called on Higgs for motion into the ref. Technical free throws being taken by the Virgin Islands, number 21. Swishes the first. The first lead, I believe, above 10. This is the largest lead of the game for the Virgin Islands.
This is where the Bahamas needs to just be careful. Run your best play, get a bucket just to keep it on the 9. You don't want to look at the scoreboard. You want to stick to your game plan, but you still don't want the game to get out of hand as well.
As we approach halftime, there's something else I want to point out. We haven't seen many fast breaks from the Bahamas. That's because the Virgin Islands are taking care of this basketball. If they do lose the ball, it's out of bounds with no opportunity for great steal by Higgs. George attempts to recover, doesn't get there in time. Higgs gets the 2. Higgs gets some get back for what happened on the last possession. Yeah. Good to see that her energy is still high. She's still focused and locked in with good effort on the defensive end. Cleveland Day sets the screen for Bow. Bow turns, takes the elbow jumper, gets it to fall. That's too easy.
Smooth jumper. Nesbitt gets the pick, drives, but is trapped. Passes it to Higgs. Higgs passes
to Nesbitt. Nesbitt feeds it into Neely. Neely goes up, doesn't get it to go. Bad shot there by Neely, kind of fading away. Pass to Tate, Tate to Bow. Bow back out to Tate. Tate fakes, controls the ball, calls the play. There we see George free on the inside. Fed into George. Gets the foul and one.
Yeah, there we cannot handle George.
I think the Bahamian coach is going to have to get Neely out of the game. She's not able to keep up with the movement of George, and as soon as she loses George absolutely bullies whoever is her assignment in the paint.
Brennan cannot handle George down low.
Here we see Neely calling for the sub, and she does get it. Roll checks in for Neely. Yep, look, here we see the replay here. Ball fed into George, and George absolutely works Brennan to get the bucket.
Champion Chalmers.
Yep, and Brennan not keeping the discipline with her hands up. Cleveland Day gets the rebound off of the miss. Kicks it out to Tate. Tate in the corner to Cleveland Day. Good active hands by Higgs. Oh, great by the Merit. Making up for the turnover there. Going up, getting it to go. I think we're seeing a little bit of fatigue from George there. She's walking. She's not moving as quickly as she was at the start. I think the halftime whistle is going to be a welcome sound for her.
Well, the game has been a bit
Tate pulls the three,
George.
too long. Raw tips it. Tipped again by George. Foul there by Ephraim. Looks like she bumped the Bahamian player as they both went for the basketball. The Bahamian player, that's Higgs, slams into the bench, gets helped up by the assistant coach of the Virgin Islands. Looks like she's okay. She's back up walking. She's testing her legs. Feeling her hip there. I think she's okay. Yeah, she looks okay. She gestures to her teammate. Yeah, it looks like she's okay. That's good to see. Don't want to see an important player like her, or any player for that matter, going down this early. There's lots of basketball left to play, and us in the commentary box, we're looking here for lots more excitement before this penultimate match closes out. Nesbitt gets the pick, pulls up on Hamilton. Bang! Swish!
That nice mid-range. She really got a nice shooting stroke. Smooth, releases it right at the top of her jump.
Yep, Hamilton contested, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Bahamas looking for a stop here. Tate kicks it to Frame puts it up, doesn't get it to go.
Hamilton.
Doesn't get it to go inside. She feeds it inside to Hamilton, I should say. Swing across the bow to Jones. Jones drives, doesn't get it. Back out to Frame for three, doesn't fall. Recovered by Butler. Wrapped up by Hamilton. Run ball, and the possession stays with the Virgin Islands. The Bahamas are going to have to lock in for another 14 seconds here. They had a great defensive effort on the last possession. We saw the defense recovering. They're going to need to do more of the same if they want to get a stop. Higgs, Jones gets the pick, fouled on the drive. Looks like it's a trip to the line for two. That's 5 team fouls there on the Bahamas. Trip to the line for 2 for Jones. She hasn't gotten in the game yet. Yeah, we see the replay here. Foul committed by Butler. Butler does get the ball in the end, but I think just before she got the ball, her hand slid up and hit Jones on the arm.
Jones, a really good free throw shooter as well. Seems like it's money every time she's at the line.
Good to see that the commentator's curse didn't come into play as she switched that first free throw. I'm hoping the best for her. She gets a chance to take the lead back to 11 for the Virgin Islands. Yep, lead back up to 11. The number 12 checks in for the Bahamas. That's Tatiana Lockhart to play the last minute and a half of the first quarter, or the first half indeed. Nesbitt calls for the pick from Lockhart. Lock gets it. It's up against Bow. Bow across to Higgs. Higgs
Bang
again for another 3. Higgs with a hot hand for Bahamas, keeping them in the game with her electric plays. Ball swung to Frame back up top to Bow. Bow back to Frame. Doesn't take the shot, hesitates, drives. Inside to Gongbo. Gongbo trying to go to work. Puts it up, doesn't get it to go. Gets the long rebound. In the corner to Jones. Jones Hamilton with the elbow jumper. Doesn't get it. Nesbitt tips it back to Ephraim. Ephraim doesn't get it to fall, but there's a foul committed by Nesbitt. There, the two of them talking to each other. They're going back and forth. I'm surprised the crew chief hasn't gotten involved. Oh yes, Brooke Briscoe got between the players there, trying to calm things down. Nesbitt walks all the way back to her bench, I guess, to avoid an altercation. I mean, we've seen Ephraim being a live wire in previous games, And we're seeing a little bit of that chippiness just ahead of the end this first half.
Yeah, you gotta like it though. You gotta like it.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Both teams playing really hard. They know what's at stake. They know that this is one of the better games of the tournament, and they're playing like it.
Yeah, they certainly are. Even though we see the Bahamas in with a fighting chance, the Virgin Islands are able to stay disciplined and keep them at arm's length. I don't think the Bahamians have been able to get the lead below 6 or 5 for that matter.
Since the first quarter.
Yeah, since the first quarter. They've been getting stops, but every time they get themselves back into the game, the Virgin Islanders show that they've got it. Blocked there by Gungbo, recovered by Roll. Roll wrapped up.
That's a foul. Jump
ball there.
Actually.
We see once the ball is in the hands of someone who's not a ball handler for the Bahamians, the Virgin Islands are smothering that play immediately, trying to force the turnover. I think if those players can keep their composure and find an open person, there's going to be easy opportunities to score. Here we see Higgs benefiting from the pick from the number 3, Demerit. Nesbitt up against Hamilton. Good moves from Nesbitt. Puts it up.
Oof.
Doesn't get it to fall. Raw tips it out to Demerit. Demerit puts it up straight away. Doesn't get it to fall.
Here comes Bo.
There we see a chance missed by the Bahamians. Bo controlling the play. The shot clock is off. 10 seconds left.
They're going to hold for that.
Fed inside to Hamilton.
Good
Hamilton back cut to
yes.
Tate. Hamilton recognizing the shoes double team. Kept her composure and fed the ball to Tate for the easy layup. Here we are at the end of the first half. The score is 56-14. 12-point lead for the Virgin Islands. Things getting a little chippy at the end. Refs getting involved, talking to the coaches and the players, trying to calm things down. The Bahamians are heated, coming down to the end here. I think the Bahamians need to channel this energy coming back into the second half and use it to get something going on the offense. I think actually it's the offense that needs to get going for the Bahamas. We're seeing them getting stops, we're seeing them getting chances, but if those shots aren't falling, you can trust the Virgin Islands to take care of the basketball and do their job. So unfortunately, at the end of the day, buckets, points are what we check on at the end when it comes to see who wins or who loses.
Yeah, definitely. The Bahamas, they're still in the game, but like you said, they just need to get better shots, hit their shots, take their shots, and make them. The Virgin Islands, they're not going to lose this game. You know, they're not going to do anything to lose this game. So you have to go out and beat them.
That's correct. And before we just do our last assessment before we go on our break for the halftime, let's do a quick turnover check. And the Bahamians have actually been doing a great job of taking care of the ball since we first checked in with them. So far at this stage, halftime, they've only had 9 turnovers. So since the 7 turnovers they had in the first quarter, there was only 2 in the second. You can compare that to the Virgin Islands, who still are on just 7 turnovers. There's been no turnovers in that previous quarter of basketball. So I think that's something to note. The Virgin Islands staying true to the stats, taking care of the basketball. We see early in the game the scorers for both teams. The top scorer for the Bahamians being Higgs with 25 and George with 17 for the Virgin Islanders. I think we're set. We're seeing a lot of what we expected. I think the merit needs to get into the game for the Bahamians if they're going to stand a chance. Right now, the Virgin Islands are just sitting back, defending the 2 primary scorers, Higgs and Nesbitt. So other players are going to have to get into the game, like Brainen, like the merit, if the Bahamians are to chip back in. Before we go on break, Tristan, I'm going to ask you, what do you think are the keys to the game for the Virgin Islands?
I think for the Virgin Islands, they just need to play big as they usually do. Obviously, they're taking the open shots when they do get them. They're not a good three-point shooting team, sorry. But at the end of the day, I think their game plan and how they play is already smooth. It's just sticking to what they already play.
Yeah, they stick to what they play, unless they get something different from the Bahamas. I think they'll be able to take this game home. So That's the halftime assessment here from us in the commentary box. It's the voices of Omari Joseph and Tristan Joseph. We're going to go on break. See you guys in 10 minutes ahead of the start of the second half. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the voice of Omari Joseph. Checking back in with me for the second half is Tristan Joseph. And Tristan, one of the talking points during halftime for both teams was Valerie Nesbitt being in foul trouble. She has 3 fouls, and the Bahamian coach clearly hasn't taken her out of the game because of how important she is for the team on both ends of the floor. However, I'm 199% certain that the Virgin Islanders will look to force her to get involved on the defensive end and potentially put her in some foul trouble. I think they're also going to probably even try to get her agitated and maybe even get a technical.
Well, I think this is where you have to show your basketball IQ. As a player of Nesbitt's caliber should know she has 3 fouls and should play accordingly. So I think once she understands where she is in terms of the foul trouble that she's in, I don't think she'll just commit foolish fouls.
True indeed. Foul on the floor committed by Roll against George. There we see again 2 players on George to prevent the ball into her and to limit her ability to get active in the paint. That leaves a Tate wide open in the corner. Doesn't get it to go inside and outside. Those are the most agonizing misses in basketball.
Indeed. Nesbitt passes to...
Great finish. Running finish by Roll.
And it's down to a 10-point lead.
Ball in the corner to Tate. Tate takes one dribble, kicks it all the way across the frame. A frame quickly hounded by Higgs. Higgs back out to Tate. Tate drives, gets the foul call. That's going to be on either Butler or the Hopefully we get a chance to see the replay to see who committed the foul.
Yeah.
Because there were 2 players reaching in there.
Tate took a tough bump, but she's going to take her first of 2 free throws.
Gets it to go. Excellent body control from Tate there as she got the finish. Yeah, looks like the foul is going to be on Demerit there. Demerit reaching in. That's fortunate for Butler, who I believe already has 3 fouls.
Tate lines it up, shoots it.
Gets the friendly bounce.
2 for 2 from the line.
My apologies, Butler actually has 4 fouls. So Butler needs to be very careful coming into this.
Higgs gets her own rebound and
Higgs recovers her own miss, gets it to go. The Virgin Island players trying to understand what happened there. I think it's because 2 players tipped that ball as she was driving, giving her a chance to recover the possession without the travel being called. Great pass inside on the back cut from Ephraim. Ephraim gets the easy bucket.
Nesbitt walking the ball up the court for the Bahamas. Important possession here, I believe. We don't want to go down by 14 points to the Virgin Islands.
Nesbitt pulls the 3, too strong. Long rebound by Cleveland. Ball brings it up the floor, down the center for the Virgin Islands.
Ephraim with ball in hand. Cross-court pass to Tate. Tate drives inside.
Tate drives, kicks it to Bow for the elbow jumper. Doesn't get it to go, recovered by Rawl.
And here comes Nesbitt up the court. Swings it to Demerit. Demerit takes the mid-range shot from the...
I love the no hesitation from Demerit there. We saw she had the hot hand yesterday. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the shot to fall. But we did see she had a miss before she went on that hot streak. Maybe the miss right now is just a blip. No call there from the refs. Kick in the corner to Tate. Ball is too low. Tate doesn't get a chance to pull up. There you see Cleveland Day pulling for the long 3. Doesn't get it. Tate recovers. Drives. Loses the ball.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
On the baseline. When you're driving baseline, you have to be very careful.
Yep, that's excellent defense too by Demerit and Higgs on the baseline. They both kept their hands up. They shuffled their feet, stayed in front of the defender, and didn't commit a foul.
Here comes Higgs bringing the ball up the court.
Left the ball behind. Roll recovers it. That's a jump ball. Ball possession stays with the Bahamians. Higgs might have tried a little bit too much there. Got ahead of herself and left the ball behind. Let's hope she can get it together again. Forbes with the elbow jumper. Doesn't get the bounce. Rebound recovered by Cleveland Day. Cleveland Day to ball on the wing. Ball trying to feed it into George. Excellent body control from George. Doesn't get it to go. She's looking for the call. Doesn't get it. Tate swings it back to George for the easy two. There you see, you cannot, no matter what's happening on the court, you cannot leave George alone.
Definitely not. And I think they also missed an earlier opportunity to get the ball to George quicker when she sealed off the defender, but still got the shot anyway. George hits the ground really hard there.
Today we see the ref, Brooke Briscoe, not calling the push on Roll, but calling a foul under the basket. I'm interested to see who that foul was on.
Timeout Bahamas scored 62-14.
If that foul was on Nesbitt, I'm perplexed. Nesbitt doesn't make a play on the ball. She actually backs away. If that foul is called on Nesbitt, I think this is going to be the first inconsistency we've seen, first major inconsistency we've seen from the refs in the tournament. We saw a clear extension of the arm on that push there against Roll. I mean, she, of course, exaggerated the contact, but players have been doing that all tournament. That happened right in front of the ref. There was no call. And now we see one, an interesting one, under the basket. I can understand the Bahamian frustration there. I mean, we've seen these soft foul calls happening throughout the tournament, but you know, this is probably the first time we've seen back-to-back plays where, you know, it seems a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there on that one. Nesbitt, of course, a very important player for the Bahamas, putting her in that extra bit of anxiety, so to speak, with 4 fouls. Could be a little bit detrimental in terms of how she plays her game, especially on defense.
It appears that foul was not on Nesbitt, and if it wasn't, then I think there's something to say, and I could withdraw my statement about inconsistency from the refs. I'm hoping that's the case. We'll get an update about that for you, ladies and gents, and based on that, I'll be able to let you know. Easy switch inside by Cleveland Day. They had 2 bodies on George, leaving Cleveland Day open for that movement on the inside, and score. The lead now is up to 16, nearing the midway point of this second quarter. Higgs goes, doesn't get it to fall, recovered, the frame up against Nesbitt all on her own. I'd say drive. Nesbitt's on 3 fouls.
Good shot.
Doesn't matter though, pass the ball, drains the easy 2.
Yeah, I definitely agree. In that case, I would have driven the ball and tried to get a foul on Nesbitt.
The Bahamians in desperate need of a point. They've allowed the Virgin Islanders to go on a quick run here. That run has taken the lead to 18. Long 3 from Nesbitt. Swish.
From
What
about
a shot.
35 feet. Nesbitt.
Nesbitt from 2 steps in front of the logo. Oh my, Cleveland Day left alone on the inside there. Again, there's too much attention being paid to George. Yes, she's a danger, but you still need to keep an eye for the off-the-ball movement from other players. 2 players come to pick Tate. Nesbitt gets the jumper at the elbow, doesn't get it to fall. Yeah, that was a forced shot there by Nesbitt. I think she could have found Demerit or Higgs on that play. Cleveland Day for the 3, doesn't get it to go. Long rebound tipped, recovered by Forbes. Forbes up to Higgs. Higgs is obviously going to drive. We know how Higgs does her thing. Gets it to go. That was actually pretty good defense by Cleveland Day, but Higgs doesn't care. Good steal by Nesbitt. Nesbitt for 3. Doesn't get it to fall. I mean, as a coach, you might be a little upset that she took a 3 there. There was the opportunity to drive, but at this point, they do need points and they need them quickly. I can't fault her. She's probably feeling herself after scoring a couple of quick buckets.
I mean, in this era of basketball, what a shot by Bow.
Another shot by Bow. All the Virgin Islanders are doing is game management. Passing the ball around, finding the open person, getting the bucket. The difference is that they're able to stop the Bahamas from scoring, while the Bahamas have not been able to effectively stop the Virgin Islanders from scoring. Ball up top to Higgs. Ross sets the screen on the frame for Higgs. Higgs drives.
Good
play. Another good drive by Higgs. The Bahamians are going to need to stop the lead down to 15 with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the quarter. The first long shot we see from foul there. Committed. Oh wow, that's an offensive foul there. Committed by George, it appears, of the Virgin Islands. Looks like the ref Brooke Briscoe signaled holding. There was a bit of holding there on that rebound, that possession. I think both players though had a bit of each other, and typically throughout the tournament we've seen those calls going in favor of the offense. For the first time in a while, I've seen that call go in favor of the defense. Very interesting refereeing so far, to say the least, in this second half.
Yeah, I think the refs. But one thing we could say about the refs, there've been some calls where we've had to question it, but they've mostly been consistent.
Yeah, most certainly. It's been great, excellent refereeing throughout the tournament. Ball to Demerit inside to Brainen. Brainen drives, turns, I should say. Roll puts up a shot, doesn't get it to fall. Romain recovers. And there we see with a number of players just checked in for the Virgin Islands, the strength of this team, right? You had one wave of players. Now another wave comes right back at you.
That's a foul.
I don't think the ref called a foul there. She just called out of bounds. Brainen landed before she passed the ball back inside. But going back to my point, we see Romain, Hamilton, Jones, and Gongbo checking in for the Virgin Islands, and it's another wave of offense. Jones driving around, finding the gap and getting an easy two. The lead is 17.
Yeah, you could see that the Bahamas now, they're not able to keep up with this Virgin Islands team. The caliber of players, oh, what a shot, nice running floated there by Nesbitt. But the Bahamas does not have, I think, a total team that could match the Virgin Islands. As you said, it's like one starting five subs in for another starting five.
Yep, excellent backcourt there we see from Hamilton, getting the feed and easy two under the rim. Higgs drives on Romain, goes up. Foul committed there by Romain on Higgs' shot. Romain looks at the ref, but her hands were extended. They were not inside her cylinder. That's going to be a foul every day of the week. And yeah, this goes to what Tristan was saying earlier, where the Virgin Islanders clearly have lots more options at all positions than the Bahamians do. The Bahamians have not been able to get a tertiary scorer, I should say, involved into the game, a third scorer. We saw Demerit carrying that burden in the previous game, but in this one, we don't see Demerit or anyone else for that matter being able to get themselves involved on the offensive end as consistently. And if it's going to be just Higgs and Nesbitt, it's going to be a very tall order to see two players manage to outscore this very strong Virgin Islands team. We see Higgs scoring both free throws, taking the lead back down to 15. Good tip there from Brainen, gets the steal. Bow recovers into Hamilton. Hamilton holds, hesitates a bit, and gets the two.
Yeah, Nesbitt brings the ball up the court, looking to make something happen here. Takes a mid-range jumper.
Another shot scored by Nesbitt. If there's one player the Virgin Islands has not been able to stop tonight, or two players I should say, it's both Higgs and Nesbitt. Higgs and Nesbitt have been able to get pretty much whatever they wanted, and they've been able to score it. But unless they get some help, they're not going to be able to beat this Virgin Islands team.
Yeah, definitely.
Romain steps out of bounds there, turning the ball over. I think the Bahamians would welcome that. Easy, quick possession for them. We see also the Bahamian coach taking advantage of the absence of George, putting Neely back in the game. That has paid dividends on the last two possessions. Let's see how long that continues. Jones paying attention to Forbes currently. Nesbitt driving along the baseline.
Blocked.
Going up, gets the call. No, it's out of bounds. Okay, the ball possession stays with the Bahamians. 1 minute and 22 seconds left in this third quarter. I think the Bahamians, the best possible outcome for the Bahamians would be taking the lead and bringing it back down to single digits. A single digit lead going into the fourth. Oh, beautiful pick by. Oh, she misses the layup. Oh my goodness. Nesbitt has to be kicking herself there.
Yes.
That was an extremely intelligent steal, taking advantage of the absent-mindedness of Bow and Cleveland Day, but she's unable to get the finish.
Yeah.
That could have been the spark they needed without losing much time on the clock.
Bonga all the way to the rim, misses, Romaine with the rebound, goes up again, and is fouled. She'll head to the line for 2.
There we see Neely getting a little too eager. I don't think Romaine had much else to go if Neely had kept position. Romaine may have had to commit a travel to get a shot up there. She didn't have a lot of space to work with. But again, comes down to discipline on the defensive end. Yes, we're seeing the replay here. Yeah, Romaine was trapped between 2 players. Had they kept their hands up, she would not have been able to do much. But there we see them reaching in and bailing her out despite being trapped.
Misses the free throw.
This is the free throw. Neely gets the rebound, passes it to Higgs. Higgs brings it up the left wing. Less than 50 seconds left in this first.
Takes a 3, misses it. Ball out of bounds is going to go to the Bahamas.
Ball, the call. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
The crew chief corrects it. Brooke Briscoe lets the crew chief know that it was last off the Bahamas. 41.5 seconds left. Here we see the Virgin Islanders getting a chance to. Virgin Islanders getting a chance to bring the ball in and score. Neely moving her feet, keeping Hamilton away from her. Excellent defense from Neely. Higgs saves it to Nesbitt. Nesbitt kicks it up the floor to Brannon. Brannon catches it in stride, doesn't get the finish, recovers, blocked from behind by Gongbo. Brannon couldn't keep her composure, didn't get the help from the guards. Nesbitt looks a little disappointed there. I think Brannon should have gotten the finish, but credit should be given to her for getting out on the break, catching it in stride, and getting to the rim. But the Bahamians cannot afford to miss these easy opportunities. When you're going to look back at the end of the game, you're going to see 5 or 6 easy opportunities missed. You multiply that by 2, that's 12 points. And they're down 13. Heavy foul there committed by Neely after the shot. We see Tate staying down on the floor there. That was a hard knock, a heavy hit committed against Tate. She's slow to get up, holding her head. We hope she's okay. I think she'll be okay. The hit didn't seem to be in anywhere critical, but shots like that will take the wind out of you. Yep,
Definitely.
there we see it. Oh no, she landed a little awkwardly on her left leg there. Yeah, we're seeing another replay. Yep, that's the leg that's sleeved up. She seems to be walking fine. She seems to be walking fine. Check testing that leg out. The refs right now are ascertaining how much time was left on the clock as the foul was committed, or if the foul was committed after the buzzer. I think based on the replay we just saw there, it looks like the foul was committed just before the buzzer. We'll get confirmation from the head table after the refs deliberate. Yep, we're seeing the replay here. Oh, this is the replay of Romaine, the Romaine play. Yep, had the defenders... Okay, we're seeing finally getting a replay of the Tate play. Yep, the foul was committed just before the buzzer. Yep, foul clearly committed before the buzzer. Just a matter to see how many seconds. Looks like it's going to be something less than a second remaining on the clock as Neely commits the foul there. I can't see the shot clock too clearly here, but it looks like... Yeah, 0.2 or 0.3 on the clock at the time the foul was committed. This is not what the Virgin Islands, this is not what the Bahamians, I apologize, needed. because they had just brought the lead down to 13. 2 free throws here could easily mean a 15-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And for them to overcome a 15-point lead would require a Herculean defensive effort, but also a Herculean offensive effort. And I'm not sure that the Bahamians have that in the tank after what we've seen. Higgs and Nesbitt would have to go nuclear, and the Merit would have to wake up from her slumber.
Yeah, I think, they definitely need some spark somehow, some type of motivation somewhere. The coaching staff, during this third quarter break, need to get them going, need to fire them up.
They're still deliberating over this replay. There, she gets hit right there. If they can pause just as she gets hit, it looks like there's between 0.1 and 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Right there. That looks like,
0.1.
Yeah, it looks like 0.1. Looks like 0.1 just as she gets hit. Well, that's actually 0.9 seconds as she gets hit there. Yep, that's a 9. 0.9 seconds left on the clock. The ref is about to make his announcement. Let's see how much time gets added back to the clock. Yep, 0.9 seconds. We were right. I think that's down to the frame rate of the camera. Depending on the number of frames they get per second, we would get an accurate view of the time on the clock, but they clearly determined that the foul was committed with 0.9 seconds left. Might not be enough for a shot it is enough for a shot, but it would take one hell of a play to get a shot up and in for the Bahamians in that time. Tate hits the first free throw, taking the lead back to 14. Misses the second, which the clock is going to run out. 14, down 14, the score is 77-63. Bahamas down 14 to the Virgin Islands at the end of the third quarter. Fourth quarter up ahead, Tristan. What are you thinking? I think throughout the game so far, we've seen the Bahamians being kept at arm's length.
Yeah, definitely. The Bahamians just haven't found a way back into the game since the first quarter when it was tied at 16, about midway through that first quarter. As soon as the lead got to about 10 points, it was always just a fight to kind of maintain it into that single-digit area. But it's a struggle for them on offense, and like you've been saying throughout the entire broadcast, they need more than just Nesbitt and Higgs to win this game. If they can't get the Merit somehow to get going, or Braden somehow to get going, then this game is definitely going to go to the Virgin Islands.
So here's where the optimistic Omari returns. Last night we saw the Merit explode for 20 points in a quarter, going 7 for 8, hitting, I believe, 7 consecutive shots in the fourth quarter. But we got a little indicators of the Merit getting into the game before that explosion. We got absolutely none tonight. There's maybe an outside chance, a really, really minuscule chance that the Merit explodes again tonight and gives this Bahamas team some hope. If the Merit does get something going, or someone else other than Nesbitt and Higgs getting something going, it may attract defensive attention away from Nesbitt and Higgs, allowing them to get the looks that they've been treasuring. However, just before you came back, I was explaining to the audience that we saw the Bahamians miss a lot of easy attempts, especially at the rim, off of steals, off of the turnovers, which in fact the Virgin Islands team has actually surpassed the Bahamians in turnovers. The Bahamians have been taking care of the basketball, right? The Virgin Islands now have 11 turnovers, the Bahamas is 10. So it's not a case of the Bahamas not being responsible. They just haven't been able to capitalize on the opportunities they've gotten. And as you look back at the end of the game, you'll see 5 or 6 times where they got an easy layup and missed it off of those turnovers. And it's going to hurt because they're only down 14.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. But that's an easy pass to George. Yeah,
Cleveland Day takes the dribble to draw the defender. As soon as the defender moves away from George, she feeds George, who gets the easy 2. Nesbitt up against Tate. Screen set. Nesbitt passes across to Higgs. Screen set for Higgs. Yep, carried here by Higgs. Lead is 16 for the Virgin Islands. Less than 9.5 minutes left in the game. Kick in the corner to Tate. Tate frame. Frame swings to Bow. Bow inside to George. George is doubled. Back up top to Cleveland Day. Cleveland Day for the misses everything. Frame tries to recover the ball but couldn't. Here we see full court press being employed by
the Virgin Islands.
The Merit gets the ball. Tries to drive against Bow. Does. Gets inside her own half. Foul committed against the Merit. Here we see the Virgin Islands trying to deny the ball to the primary ball handlers. I think that's also a tactic to burn clock.
And not just that, to probably frustrate both Nesbitt and Higgs as well, which could potentially cause them to maybe
commit an offensive foul out of frustration.
Yes.
Good free throw jumper from Higgs. It looked good, but it was just a little too strong. Back iron recovered by Cleveland Day, brought up the floor by Bow. Bow to Tate. Tate with a quick first step and the floater. Too strong. Doesn't get it to go. George tips it, but straight to Higgs. Higgs kicks to Nesbitt. Nesbitt goes up. Beats the contact. Can't get it to go. She's frustrated with herself. That's good responsible defense from the number 21 of the Virgin Islands, keeping her hands up, not giving away the foul, staying within the cylinder and making Nesbitt decide what she wants to do with her shot. Here we see George trying to find position on the inside, being shepherded out by Butler. Doesn't get it to go. Higgs gets the rebound. These are the opportunities that the Bahamas needs to take a full advantage of. Good finish by Higgs. We see George slow on the recovery for defense, giving Higgs a little bit of room to get the shot there. And as we know, Higgs has never been shy of contact.
Too easy for
Cleveland Day. But Brannon is in foul trouble, so I can understand why she didn't take the risk there. But the Bahamians can't continue to trade attempts like this. Good pass to the Merit. The Merit drives, puts it up, doesn't get it to go. Foul called. Push on the Merit. I think that's going to send the Merit to the line. The push was committed from behind. Hopefully we can get a replay to see exactly what happened there. The Merit was between the camera and the defending player, so we're not exactly sure. Swish from the Merit. Maybe these are the free throws to start up the Merit engine. I know I'm sounding a little wishful here, but well, those may be sometimes just seeing that ball go in the hoop, could activate.
Definitely agree. And you're still in the game with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left. So it's not to say that this game is over.
Great active hands from Higgs. We see some of what we saw in the end of the previous game from the Virgin Islands, getting a little sloppy in possession. But you were saying, Tristan?
Yeah, they definitely can't afford to be sloppy right now, because the Bahamas is not like the Bahamas is going to just...
Water bounce. 5 bounces before it fell in there from Bow.
Oh my goodness.
That's demoralizing.
Yes,
as the defending team. You see the ball bounce so many times only to drop in, and there's nothing you can do about it. What a step from Nesbitt, and a beautiful shot. But there we see they trade 2 for 3. Not what you want to do at this stage of the game.
Agreed with you. The Bahamas need so many things to go right for them right now. And the
travel committed there by a frame. We see the stuck step. Yep, the turnovers are giving the Bahamas a chance. They're getting the opportunities. It's down to them to take it. We see them taking care of the basketball. We see Higgs, Nesbitt, and the Merit getting good looks.
This would be a monumental collapse by the Virgin Islands if they were to lose this game from this point. Nesbitt with the handles. Woo-hoo-hoo. Jump ball. Nesbitt frustrated and angry.
Yeah, I think she could have looked for a player there. She had Higgs and the Merit open on the opposite wing. I think she put her head down and was intent on scoring. And while she does have a hot hand right now, I think at this time you want to get your teammates some touches, get them in the game. Pass up top to Demerit. Demerit puts it up, gets the bucket to go. She might be heating up. She might be heating up.
The lead is down to 12, 83-71 in favor of the Virgin Islands. George with the entry, collects the entry pass. Ooh, what a
Fakes
move
the
by
pass.
George.
Beautiful move from George. Fakes the pass. The defender falls asleep. She turns and puts it in the rim. The Bahamas looking to answer back. Bahamas looking to answer. Higgs with the three. Doesn't get it to fall. Rebounded by Bow, tipping it to George. Ephraim. Here with Butler needs to get active on the defense.
Good steal.
Loses the ball. Steal by Nesbitt. Nesbitt is going to drive. Oh, it comes off of her foot.
She had Higgs wide open.
She had Higgs wide open in the corner. Yes. This is the second time we see two players open. There was also the Merit open on the other wing.
Yeah, you got to pass that ball earlier than that, man.
And there were two players in the paint waiting for Nesbitt. I think the pass was the obvious option. Good block by Butler. Ball recovered by the Merit. The Merit kicks to Higgs. Higgs comes up the wing. Dribbles inside. Butler sets a pick for Higgs. Good pass by Higgs to Brandon. Brandon gets the two. Beautiful ball movement. That's the power of the pass. Higgs pulls. It looks like her hamstring. As soon as she turned around, her leg went stiff and she grabbed it. That definitely looks like a hamstring injury.
Yep. She's probably getting some cramps.
Yep, she's probably getting some cramps. Hopefully it's just a cramp and not a pulled hamstring. She's writhing in pain.
It looks like a cramp.
It looks like a cramp. Hopefully the physio can give her some attention. We don't want to see Higgs suffering. She's been the light for the Bahamas so far, finding her teammates, getting the buckets, getting the steals as well. Yep, it's getting sprayed.
Definitely cramps. You could tell.
Yeah, she's been giving it all, and that's a symptom of being one of the primary players. I don't think Higgs or Nesbitt has gotten much of a rest tonight.
Exactly. I think Higgs went off for like about 10 seconds.
Yep, there we see. Yep, her leg went stiff and she goes down on the replay. Yep, she's played 34 minutes of the game so far. She's basically had no rest.
Yeah, Nesbitt too is probably the same thing.
Yeah, Nesbitt has played the same amount of minutes as Higgs. There's been no rest. Higgs is back on her feet, walking on her own power, but she's walking quite gingerly. Forbes checks in for Higgs. Well, Valicia Demerit, your name is called. Higgs is on the bench. The team needs buckets. All eyes on you.
Yeah. Higgs will just need to kind of stretch it out, walk it out a little bit. She'll still be able to play in this game. She should be back a little bit later.
Yeah, the team is going to need her sooner rather than later. And in the meantime, Demerit is going to have to get active sooner rather than later. She's been the fourth quarter energy for the Bahamas. Hopefully she can provide it here again tonight. The frame goes again up on Nesbitt. Back up top to Tate. Tate looking for an option. Takes the ball deep inside. Puts up the jumper. Doesn't get it to go. Forbes tips it, but it goes off of Bow. Bow asking the ref to look. Oh, wow. The crew chief overrules the play.
Wow.
It's hard for us to see from here, even though we have the camera angle, exactly who it went off of. You need a tighter angle to determine, but nonetheless, the ball possession stays with the Virgin Islands. Here we have George well outside the paint. Ball cutting on along the baseline. They look for the give and go. They don't get it. The frame goes up for three. Trains it. That three curbs the little run that the Bahamas had going. They're going to need to answer and answer quickly.
Yep.
Time is not on their side.
Butler comes up for the pick for Nesbitt. Nesbitt pulls up for three.
Long three by Nesbitt. Doesn't get it to go. I think that shot was ill-advised. I mean, yes, a three was scored on the other end, but I think getting points on the board is
good steal.
Good steal there by Demerit. Demerit to Nesbitt. Nesbitt should push the ball. There's two defenders still back. Gets the foul and one. Big flex by Nesbitt. That's a big ball of play by Nesbitt there.
Nesbitt.
You see the replay. Drive in, take in the contact, hold in, get in the finish, and a friendly bounce. Higgs checks back into the game. The Merit goes to the bench.
Wow, I don't think the Merit should have gone to the bench.
I don't think the Merit should have gone to the bench either, but I'm not the coach. Easy by Ephraim.
As you were saying, the Merit was getting a little bit hot.
Here we see Higgs dribbling gingerly. She clearly doesn't have as much explosiveness as before the end. Wow, she's got the step. Ooh, good rebound by Forbes. Recovered by Nesbitt. Nesbitt with a pong dribble. Doesn't get the bounce. Forbes fights for the rebound. It's loose on the floor. Recovered by Hamilton. Hamilton. It's a 2-on-2 Tate and Bow versus Nesbitt and Higgs. It's 4-on-2 now. Bow takes the shot, gets it to fall. I think at this point in time we see in the Virgin Islands stamping the authority.
Yeah.
It's just a lack of energy, lack of additional scoring for the Bahamas.
Yep.
They put up a valiant fight, but its time is running out on them.
And you know what they say? It ain't over till the fat lady sings, but the fat lady is definitely tuning up right now.
Yep, I can see the fat lady stretching on the sidelines. Bow just out of the free throw, doesn't get it to fall. Recovered by Hamilton. Hamilton looks for an option, out to Ephraim. Ephraim kicks up top to George. George drives, gets the foul call on Butler.
Yeah,
that might be Butler fouling out of the game. Let's double check there. Yep, that looks like it's Butler's fifth. Timeout called by the Virgin Islands. The score is 94-75. 19-point lead for the Virgin Islands with 3 minutes and 1 second left in the game. It's been a good effort from the Bahamas, but it looks like they're on the edge of coming up short. All right, we're coming out to that timeout from the Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands keeps the same personnel on the floor. Looks like this is going to be the closeout lineup for the Virgin Islands. Bow, George, Tate, Hamilton, and Ephraim. George lines up for her first free throw. Doesn't get it to go.
Oh, man, and George.
Higgs is down again, gets up quite slowly. Short from Nesbitt. There we see Nesbitt forcing it. There's limited options on offense right now for the Bahamas. Those options have gotten even shorter. We can say there's 1.5 options in offense because Higgs is playing on one leg.
Yeah, she's hobbled. But that's a higher of a champion.
Great move by George. Overpowering roll there. Or rolling roll to get to the basket. Foul committed. She got wrapped up. She's going to head to the line for two. Here we see Ephraim celebrating a little bit there.
Definitely, this game is going to crown the Virgin Islands
as champions.
As the 2025 Women's Caribbean Basketball Champions. 4 games undefeated.
Yeah, that means the matchup between Jamaica and Guyana is going to settle second and third place.
Correct. So a lot to play for still for Guyana and Jamaica, but this is definitely going to be congratulations to the Virgin Islands on being the 2025 Women's Caribbean Basketball
Higgs
Champions.
pulls a 3, doesn't get it to fall. Recovered by George.
Yep. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. The writing is on the wall. Hamilton pulls up, passes to Ephraim.
Back inside to Hamilton, up top to Bow. You can see they just running clock by passing the ball around. Inside to Hamilton, Hamilton back up to Bow, Bow inside to Tate, easy bucket. They play tic-tac-toe here. They play tic-tac-toe before getting the bucket. Foul committed by Bow. Up top. Looks like the foul was committed to bring the second unit back onto the floor. Seeing Gongbo, Romain, Jones. Yes. Gongbo, Romain, Jones, and Graham checking in for the Virgin Islands.
First action of the night for Graham.
Yes, first action of the night for Graham. Just looking to clean things up here in garbage time. What a shot by Nesbitt. I think at the end of the day, it's a team sport. So even though Nesbitt's been prolific with her shot making, her efforts and Higgs' efforts alone are not enough.
Definitely.
Enough for victory. I think what we've seen throughout the tournament is that the Virgin Islands has been the superior team, better constructed, I'd say, than any other team. They're able to replace players if they go down, able to replace players if they get in foul trouble, and maintain almost the same playing style, the same energy, the same tempo, and most importantly, the same structure, the same offensive and defensive
Correct.
structure. Here we see the replay. Gongbo getting fouled there. Looks like by Wild Goose.
Yeah, because the
Yep.
Virgin Islands, they play from the inside out.
Yep.
So they look to make the entry pass in either to George or Dongbo on the lower block. And from there, even Hamilton sometimes plays in the painted area. And then they make their passes from that lower block. Here comes Nesbitt. Nesbitt sizing up Jones. Crossover. Shoots it. Front iron.
Beats Jones and gets the foul. Jones jumping into Nesbitt's landing space there. That's always going to be a foul. 2 free throws for Nesbitt. 1 minute and 20 seconds left, as Tristan said, or as I said. The fat ladies there stretching on the sidelines.
Yes, sir.
But it's good to see the intensity still being kept up by Nesbitt. I think coming out to this tournament, Team Bahamas has a lot of positives. Their team has been able to, we've seen game by game, work on their mistakes from the previous game. Shows a good deal of maturity and intelligence from the players. Good coaching as well, of course. It takes a coach to notice these things.
Definitely.
And however, their Achilles heel all tournament has been the lack of scoring options.
Yeah.
Having Nesbitt and Higgs as your primary scorers is all well and good. But what happens on a night when they're slow or cold or like this, where the other team has scorers to match?
Yeah, and you know, once you could limit the offensive ability of Nesbitt and Higgs, then nobody else is actually going to be able to beat you.
Winding drive there by Taylor Jones to get the bucket. You're saying nobody's able to beat you, Tristan? Out of bounds by Higgs, it looks like. We have Taylor Jones bringing the ball up for the Virgin Islands. Less than a minute left in the game. Great drive by Graham. She doesn't get the finish though, gets her own rebound. Outside to Gongbo. Gongbo swishes the three. The first 103 points on the board for the Virgin Islands. This is the third 100-point score of the tournament. First one for the Virgin Islands. With 42 seconds left in the game, the Virgin Islands have a chance to set a new tournament high. Answering Guyana's effort last night of 106 points. Steal by Nesbitt. Nesbitt takes it to the rim. Gets the easy two. Taking the score to 81. Cumulatively, this is already the highest scoring game we've seen in the tournament. Go on top. Okay. Cumulatively, this is already the highest scoring game we've seen in the tournament. And frankly, I would say the defense was not bad at all today. There were defensive lapses by both teams, but there was intensity kept up throughout the game. We see both teams being responsible with the basketball, but it's just two good offenses coming up against each other. And more often than not, Great offense beats great defense. You see Jones spinning for the drive, gets the ball, loses the ball, foul committed against Jones there. She's going to go for 2. There we see her on the ground. Looks like she came out worse for wear on that drive there. Yep, we see the drive from Jones. Foul looks like it's committed by Wild Goose. It's either going to be on Wild Goose or the number 12. Lockhart, I believe. Yes, Lockhart. Scores now 104. 16 seconds left. If she scores this second free throw, they're going to be one shy of the highest score of the tournament.
It's going to be hard for them to get past that 106.
Yeah, unless there's a steal or grave error by the Bahamians before the clock runs out. I think Nesbitt is going to go for one more shot. She's looking for the ISO play. She throws it up. Oh, doesn't get it to fall. That's going to be the end of the game. Excellent win by the Virgin Islands.
Congratulations to the Virgin Islands on being crowned as the 2025 Women Caribbean Basketball Championships. An all-out performance by the ladies, and of course going 4 games undefeated. Omari, a brilliant play from this team, brilliant coaching as well. You couldn't ask for a better basketball team. I think the only weakness we could say that they possibly had was their
three-point shooting?
Limited three-point shooting.
Yeah, but clearly they didn't need it. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, who cares? They dominated every game without it. They played to their strengths, exploited the opponent's weaknesses, and here we see at the end of this game, final score 105-81 in favor of the Virgin Islands. I want to extend congratulations to them as well. We see the top players of the game for the Virgin Islands being Anisha George with 26 and Imani Tate with 22. George also was dominant on the rebounding glass with 21 rebounds tonight.
Oh, wow.
So it's an incredible game by George. I think she's an early shout for MVP of the tournament, being the top player for the team. We see the schedule of the day. First game just finished there. 105-81. Virgin Islands winning all their games. Looking ahead to the primetime matchup, Guyana versus Jamaica. This is Omari Joseph and Tristan Joseph telling you, hope you guys had a good game. Here we see the table. Virgin Islands clear with 8 points. There's nobody who can catch them at this point. We want to thank you for tuning in. Looking ahead to the primetime matchup between Guyana and Jamaica to decide who's going to finish in what positions tonight. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to check back in with us at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. This is Omari Joseph and Tristan Joseph saying good night and see you at our primetime game.
Definitely.